Hello guys and welcome to today's video. I'm Lawrence and I teach guitar, so if you want any guitar lessons, all my links are in the description. But in today's video we're looking at 313 pentatonics, which is a common approach used to create really fast pentatonic runs. So all these pentatonic lessons on my channel come from my book Modern Pentatonics, which is available through my website, so please check that out if you'd be interested in going into this in greater detail. Anyway, so the basics of the 313 concept is very simple. We just have 3 notes on one string, then 1 note on the next string, 3 notes, 1 note, 3 notes, and maybe 1 note on the top string. So this is the way many players do this, such as Frank Gambale. He'll start with 3 notes on the first string, but this leads us to having to learn 2 different sets of positions, whether we're starting on the E string or the A string, due to the B string. So if we go up to the next position here, this note, the major third of C major, is located there, 1 fret away from our starting note, whereas here, it's 2 frets away from our starting note. So because of that, I learned these with 2 notes on the first string. And then we start our 313 pattern on the A string. We get that. So, and then we must be able to do this in all positions. So I'll write all of these positions down on my Patreon if you'd like to check that out there, and along with other things that we'll talk about later. So when you're practicing this, first of all, you just need to be really slow and accurate. The fingers have to remember where to fall without having to think about it. And I'm just thinking about the starting note and the ending note. You just want to let your fingers do the work. There shouldn't be any thought. Obviously, if I'm playing 313 patterns in a slower context, I'll be far more free to start the 313 pattern from anywhere. Whereas these are just kind of runs that I've practiced that are just muscle memory. So if you want to get these runs down, it's just about slow practice and building up the technique before you don't have to think about it. Obviously, you can connect these positions together. I slide up. Through the positions. So these are all great ways to practice these shapes. At the start, I kind of went up randomly through different positions of the 313 shapes. To start from here and end at the top of the neck there. But these are all just different ways that we can practice this technique, and it's great for creating this cascading arpeggio pentatonic kind of sound. So I also use these shapes a lot for the minor 6 pentatonic. If you don't know the minor 6 pentatonic, I've done a video of it on my channel, so please check that out. But essentially all we're doing is flattening the flattened 7th and turning it into the 6th. So the flat 7th becomes the 6th. And this gives us a lot of different applications. For the pentatonic scale, we can then use it over an A minor 6 pentatonic. We could use it over a D7 or an A flat altered, or many, many different chords. These shapes fall nicely under the fingers. However, when we get up to the 3rd position here, we have got our diminished triad there from the 6th. So for some people, maybe they'll find that a little bit too stretchy. But for me, I like using these patterns for that shape too. So we can also apply our 313 concept to any scale. So let's use the melodic minor as an example. So I played 3 notes from melodic minor, root, 2nd minor, 3rd, and then I went up to the 5th, and here we could either go to the 6th here, or as I did, I went to the 7th, and then I went to the 9th and the minor 3rd, and so you see I'm just essentially choosing the notes that I want to hear from the scale. It kind of gives a nice intervallic texture, more arpeggio-like sound. And then I just finished off the line there. So it's just a really great way of flowing through different sounds, the 3-1-3 technique. And once you start combining it with the 2-1-2 technique, which I did at the end there, it really starts to break it up a little bit and can make your ideas sound really interesting. So at first, these positions may seem challenging if you're not used to stretching, and you'll have to strengthen your stretch before you're able to have an accurate opinion whether these could help you build up speed or not. Obviously, at first, I would have found the 2-note per string method easier for speed, but I found there was a kind of an upper limit to the speed that I could build using that technique, whereas this method allowed me to break through that. But obviously, at first, it was more challenging, but after the stretching and the patterns became more familiar, then I was able to break through that top speed. So I would recommend you to just give it a bit of time first, whether that be a couple of weeks or a couple of months, before deciding whether these positions are going to help you or not. But anyway, that's the 3-1-3 technique there. So I'd encourage you to explore it. And as I said before, I'll write out all the pentatonic positions and all the -6 positions and some other modal options on my Patreon for you to explore. And once you start combining this with the 2-1-2 technique, as I did earlier in the video, then it can start to really break it up a bit, and you can come up with some really interesting ideas. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. Please check out my book in the description, Modern Pentatonics, which is the pentatonic one, and there are other ones too. And obviously, if you'd like to contact me for private lessons, then all my links are in the description. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you very shortly for another video.